What's up, YouTube? This is Too Wrong for TV. All right, so in this particular video, I want to talk about something that a lot of LeBron fans love to do, okay, when it comes to Scottie Pippen. And I think any of y'all who have engaged in discourse, debate, want to call it that, with LeBron fans when it comes to Michael Jordan versus LeBron James, they love to prop up Scottie Pippen as, this equal partner or this unappreciated partner when it comes to the championship era. All of a sudden, Scottie Pippen becomes a superstar. Hell, they'll even say that overall Scottie Pippen was better than Michael Jordan, right? And they'll bring up certain sound bites from people who will say, well, Scottie was perhaps a more versatile defender. You even had some people say Scottie was the best all-around player in the league, and you had some people say that. And I remember hearing that to a degree from maybe 1992 to 1995 or something, right? And they love to bring up, well, Michael Jordan never won a championship without Scottie Pippen. And Scottie won without Michael. They love to bring that type of stuff up. When they say Scottie won without Michael, they mean the 93-94 season. That's what they're talking about. The year that they won 55 games, when the expectation was, honestly, that the Bulls probably were going to struggle to get the 8th seed, right? So because they overachieved that year, that's supposed to be an indictment on Michael Jordan's greatness, right? And, at the same time, his wretched fan base loved to downplay the Hall of Famers and All-Stars that LeBron James has played with, okay? They love to do this. So to give you a prime example I'm talking about, the way that they describe Scottie, you would think that in all these playoff series, for the most part, Scottie is giving the Bulls like 20 points or 25 points a game, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, or at the very least, 20 points a game, 7 rebounds, 7 or 8 assists, 2 or 3 steals, et cetera, right? So LeBron fans, I know that if they heard that some supposed all-star was only averaging in a playoff series, 9 points a game, 5 rebounds and 2 assists, well, they would say, man, that those are the bums that LeBron's playing with. You got to be talking about some bum that LeBron's playing with. But I'm looking at the 1988 playoffs against the Pistons, the team that for some reason Michael Jordan gets castigated from his fan base for losing to, right? And in 1988, Scottie Pippen was 5th in scoring in that series. 5th on the team, 5th behind Michael Jordan, who averaged 27.4 points. Matter of fact, in that series, Jordan averaged 27.4 points, 8.8 rebounds, 4.6 assists, 2 steals. Second was Sam Vincent, who, by the way, averaged fewer minutes per game than Scottie, 12.8 points. Third was Horace Grant, who gets forgotten. That was the third of the 3 amigos, but Horace Grant gets erased by his fan base because they want to make it sound like it was Scottie doing all this extra heavy lifting. Horace Grant averaged 11.4 points per game in that series. Fourth was Charles Oakley at a little bit over 9.4 points per game, and then Scottie at 9.4 points per game. So you look at that, you look at the fact that in that year, in the first round against the Cavaliers, Scottie averaged, I think it was 10 points per game in that series against the Cavaliers, where Jordan averaged 45. How are they equal partners from the get-go? Or was it, as a lot of us stated, Scottie Pippen got better by playing with Michael Jordan? He got better by playing with Michael, practicing against Michael, competing against Michael in one-on-one and scrimmages and practices and whatnot, being under tutelage and leadership of Michael Jordan. Because I assure you, if Scottie Pippen had never been traded to Chicago, I think at best, and I think I've used this comparison before, I think Scottie would have been a somewhat upgraded version of Stacey Augmon. I think that's where he would have been, like somewhere in that realm. He would not have been the same Scottie Pippen. And, you know, just because he won championships with Mike, people like to say, oh, well, he never won. That's only because Michael stayed in Chicago. So you could do that with Klay Thompson. Klay's no longer in Golden State, but it looks like the Golden State Warriors championship window is pretty much over. They got nothing but a bunch of geezers over there now, right? But hell, you could say, because at one point in time, Klay was playing on a higher level on the defensive side of the ball before the injuries. You could say, well, Klay was a better all-around player at one point, right? Especially before Steph started getting a little bit better on the defensive end. Remember, Klay never won without Steph, never won without Klay. You could say, you know, Joe Dumars maybe was better than Isaiah Thomas. Maybe because Isaiah never won without Joe Dumars. But because LeBron James cut and runs and build these teams, these ready-made teams, you know what I'm saying, by teams giving up their assets now with a whole media campaign to pressure superstars into joining him. So he can't say, I won a title without Dwayne Wade. I won a title without Kyrie Irving, because he goes and cuts and run and has a whole media push and promote talent to go join him. That's never happened before in the history of the NBA. No player has ever had the media pressure great players to go join them. And you're still complaining. This fucking dude, man. But, you know, and there's a current media campaign right now to push Scottie Pippen to a whole nother round. Scottie Pippen, on that list yesterday, the Bleacher Report's top 100, Scottie is number 28 on that list. 28. 20 years ago, most of those lists would have had Scottie probably either in the high 30s or low 40s. And in some lists, Scottie was starting to be pushed out of the top 50. Some of them will have him right at the 49, 50 range. Now all of a sudden, Scottie is one spot behind Isaiah Thomas, the same Isaiah Thomas who sat on the couch in that roundtable discussion and said, what, Scottie Pippen didn't want me on the dream team? He said, I can understand if Michael or Magic didn't want me, but Scottie Pippen? Now all of a sudden, Scottie Pippen is in the same realm as him? Isaiah Thomas, a guy that is, in some estimation, the greatest little man ever. And by the way, have you noticed how, and I think I said this yesterday, you notice all these contemporaries of LeBron James are all of a sudden real high on this list? Chris Paul is number 30. Chris Paul, who ain't won shit. Not a damn thing in his career. And in the one finals he was in, he choked after the first two games. He's 2 spots below Isaiah Thomas? Go suck a dick. So Chris Paul is number 30, who ain't won shit. But one of LeBron's teammates, Kyrie Irving, is like in the 60s or something. Man, if you don't get out of my face that stupid ass Clutch Sports drivel that was that top 100 list from Bleacher Report. Truth of the matter is, man, Scottie Pippen was a really good player, a great player. But he was enhanced by playing with Michael Jordan. You know, I said this recently in a video when he was playing with the Portland Trailblazers in 2000. Scottie Pippen was supposed to have been the piece, the veteran presence on that team when things were becoming discombobulated out there, when the Portland Trailblazers were becoming discombobulated in Game 7, when they were blowing that 15-point lead against the Lakers. And back then, because they didn't shoot as many threes and the game was a little bit slower, a 15-point lead was akin to having like a 25-point lead. When they blew that 15-point lead, Scottie Pippen was supposed to have been the veteran presence. That exactly was the reason why he was on the floor. He was supposed to calm the team and show leadership, and he was supposed to have been the guy out there to be the floor general. And Scottie choked. So Michael Jordan wasn't out there then. Remember, this is saying Scottie Pippen had the migraine and what was before the Bulls' biggest game, Game 7 in 1990 conference finals against the Pistons, when he choked then, because Scottie was just known for choking all the time. Some of the same Scottie Pippen who, after scoring 30 points in the first round against the Charlotte Hornets in 94, never scored 30 points in another playoff game with a Bulls uniform again. You know how many times I watched Michael Jordan when Scottie Pippen was laying the egg out there defensively, defensively he was getting the job done. You know how many times I watched Scottie Pippen and all those guys, other guys laying eggs offensively, and Michael Jordan had to go bail those motherfuckers out offensively. I watched way too many fucking Bulls games over the past 30 to 40 years. For you motherfuckers to try to pull this bullshit of putting Scottie Pippen up there, this shit ain't gonna work, man. Way too many of us Bulls fans and Michael Jordan fans who actually watched the game that are still left for y'all to pull this bullshit. Well, that's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.